Hi, I'm Alan Gordon, and thank you so much for taking a few minutes to look at this course, Real Estate Sales Skills. And I want you to look at it very carefully, because what you're going to see here is something that has never existed before. You can search on the internet and you will not find anything like you'll find in this course. What I've done is I have taken every sales skill I have ever learned over the course of my sales career, and I have applied it specifically to the real estate sales process. And I haven't held anything back. Look, let's just take one example. Let's talk about getting a listing. Now, let's say you pass a house, or you look in the newspaper or on the internet and you see a for sale by owner. You write down the phone number and you call them. Well, first of all, how many other real estate agents do you think are calling that for sale by owner? Lots of them. In fact, what they'll all tell you is, I get more calls from real estate agents trying to get the listing than I get from actually people interested in buying the house. Now, of all of those real estate agents that are calling that for sale by owner, who do you think is going to get that listing? Because some real estate agent is going to get that listing. Who do you think is going to be the one to get it? Well, the answer is, after you take this course, you are going to be the one to get it. Because let's say they don't hang up on you right away and they engage in a little bit of dialogue, and you say, well, I'd really like to list your house. What do you think they're going to tell you? They're going to tell you, no, that's okay. We're just going to list it ourselves and see how it goes. Or, you know what, I think real estate commissions are too high. To be honest with you, for the money that I would pay you, I'm more than happy to show the house myself. Or, actually, we've been getting a little bit of traffic. I actually have a couple that's going to be coming back in next weekend or the weekend after. So, I'll tell you what, if that doesn't work out, if they don't buy the house, I'll call you back. Or maybe they'll say, you sound like a great realtor, to be honest with you. Why don't you send me an email? And when I do list my house, I'll be sure to list it with you, no doubt about that. Or they might say, you know what, first of all, we're selling it by ourselves, but if we do list it, I've got a friend, a neighbor, an aunt, an uncle, a sister, a brother, whoever it is, I've got another real estate agent who's already going to list it. So I already have someone who's going to list it. Or they're going to say, you know what, just give us a few more weeks, and if we don't sell it by then, I'll call you back. Or what's your website? Let me look you up, and if it makes sense, I'll go ahead and list with you. What do you think they're going to say? Sure, here are the keys? Yeah, here are the keys. Please, please, please list my house. No, they're going to tell you no. And they're going to tell you no in 7, 8, or 9 different ways. These are called objections. Now, to 99% of real estate agents, you've never been trained in how to overcome these objections. But I am a sales trainer, so I can tell you no matter what you're selling, and in this case, all you want to do is get an appointment to visit their home, look at their home, and give them a nice listing presentation and convince them to list with you. And by the way, after your listing presentation, let you know a little secret, they're also going to tell you no. They're going to say, no, we just want to list it ourselves, or, we need to interview more real estate agents, or the killer, we'll maybe list with you, but would you work for a reduced commission? So yeah, they're going to tell you no. As a salesperson, I can tell you this is normal customer behavior. As a real estate agent, what I can tell you is you haven't ever been trained in how to overcome these simple objections. You're not expecting them, and when you get them, oh, okay, I'll call you back in 3 weeks, okay? Or, all right, here's an email. What's your email address? I'll send you an email with my contact information. Would it be okay if I call you back in a few weeks? You're not trained in how to handle that sales situation. I know you're a real estate agent. You don't think of yourself as a salesperson. I get that. But that's a sales situation. You're asking for an appointment, and they're telling you, no, that's okay. And even if you do overcome the one objection, they'll give you another, and another, and another, and another, and another, until you go away. Okay? Who's going to get that listing? It's the real estate agent who understands all of the objections that are going to come and is completely prepared with a response to move past the objection and get the listing appointment. Now you're in the house and you have an opportunity to give the listing presentation. Well, suppose they tell you no at the end of your presentation. Again, It's simply that you simply just don't know what to say. When they tell you no, I can show you, and do show you in this course, step by step by step, word for word, rebuttal for rebuttal, how to rebut any objection that they give you, and then get the listing agreement. You only want to walk out there with a signed listing agreement. That's called, in the sales world where I live, that's called closing. Okay? You're closing by getting a signed listing agreement. And make no mistake about it, the separation between the top realtors, the middle realtors, and the bottom realtors, there's only one factor that separates them, and it's how many listings they have. Listings are the golden nectar of real estate. The more listings you can get, the more business you get. You start to work with more buyers. Your business expands and expands. Imagine if you could have 10 for sale by owners, all their names and phone numbers, and put an hour a week into just making those phone calls and get 3 or 4 appointments to do the listing presentation. And imagine if you can walk out of those 3 or 4 listing presentations with 2 or 3 new listings. And you could do this anytime you want it. I'll show you how to do it. In this course, I'll show you how to do it. Okay? Also, now let's flip it. Now let's say you're working with buyers. What's the absolute worst thing that ever happens to a real estate agent? And it happens to all of you all the time. All right? I work and work and work with the buyers, and then I call them, leave them a couple of messages for the next week or so. They don't answer. Then I call them 2 or 3 weeks later. They answer the phone, and oh yeah, we bought a house with another real estate agent. So what you did was you did all the work, but you didn't lock the relationship in. You didn't lock them in to working with you. I'm going to show you very specific words, phrases, techniques, skills that I'm going to show you to lock a buyer into a relationship. And I'm not talking about legally locking them in. I'm talking about psychologically locking them in. Because all sales is understanding buyer and seller psychology, why they're saying what they're saying, and then being completely prepared with the perfect response. And in this case, we want to lock them in. Then you show the houses, and now you're working with them for a week, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months. They can't figure out how to make an offer. They've got a psychological barrier where every time they find the perfect house, they get the tape measure out. Oh, okay, great. Let's go ahead and make an offer. You love the house. Let's do it. Oh, gee, we really need to think about it. We need to see more houses. We need to go home and pray about it. We need to make sure that this is absolutely right. We need to blah, blah, blah. How do you get people over the hump of their resistance to making a commitment and get them to make an offer? Again, this is training you've never actually had. I'll show you skills, tips, techniques, actual words, sentences, paragraphs, scripts, questions you can ask them that are going to create urgency and get them to make an offer. And then you get into the third phase of real estate where you've got offers and counteroffers and you've got the negotiation going. How do you deal with, not only, I'm going to make you a world-class negotiator, and you may already be a great negotiator, but I'm going to give you more tips and tricks, make you a world-class negotiator, but now you've got the problem if you've got to deal with another agent and then their buyer or their seller, and they're not expert negotiators, and they're messing up the communication with their buyer or their seller. You've got your client locked down, but they don't have their client locked down. So I'm going to show you how to actually work with other agents, to actually teach them how to lock their client down and get them to compromise and reach agreement. There are so many deal killers that come up all the time. I'm going to actually walk you through a step-by-step process to resolve any deal killer and come up with a fair and reasonable solution that both parties agree. Because I've got my client locked down. Now I need this other agent to go lock down his client or her client, and then we're going to get a great deal in the middle. I'm not going to lose deals because my client, I'm going to be in control of my client, and I'm going to teach you how to get the other agent how to be in control of their client. So all of those 3 things, how to get listings, how to get an appointment with a for sale by owner or an expired listing, and then how to give a listing presentation and how to walk away with an actual listing agreement, how to close them. Then flipping it, how when you work with buyers, how to lock them into the relationship so they don't go testing out other realtors next weekend, and then how to get them to actually make an offer, how to do a showing that results in an actual offer. And then finally, how to deal with offers and counteroffers and negotiations and working with the other party or the other party's agent. So those are the things that I'm going to share with you in this course. The value to you is, if it's Look, the National Association of Realtors tells us that the average net fee to a real estate agent after their expenses are covered is $3,200. Now yours may be lower or yours may be higher, but the average is $3,200. If you simply get one new sale in the first year, you have covered your expenses 5, 6, 7 to 1. That is the best return. Now, I'm going to tell you, after you go through these materials, you'll only be a few hours into the materials, and you'll realize, wow, I'm not only going to sell one more house, this is going to change my entire outlook on my career, because finally someone is giving you the actual skills and techniques and the words that the greatest salespeople in the world use to build up interest, build up enthusiasm, and close the deal. You've never seen this kind of material before, I promise you. Now, you may go through and say, well, I saw this, I saw that, but I can assure you, in totality, this is very, 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 very relevant material, and it's going to take you through every single step of your real estate sales process. It's going to give you tips, tricks, techniques, advice, actual words and scripts and phrases to use so that you will be in complete control of the sales process. All right? So I could go on and on. Go ahead, invest in this course. It will be the very, very best investment you have ever made in your real estate sales career. Thank you again for taking the time. My name's Alan Gordon, and I look forward to working with you as we go through each of these 37 or 38 videos, and we go through every single tip, trick, technique, skill to become the very, very best real estate salesperson you can possibly be. Thanks.